Hey everyone, welcome to SketchADay Live. It is Fan Friday, I guess technically Liquid Friday as well. We're back on it. Thanks for joining. It's been a minute, understandably been busy, so apologies I haven't been around as much, but blessings abound. Hello Latrice, welcome. Thank you so much. I'm excited to draw with you all today. So, hey Svetlana, what's up? Happy Friday for everyone as well. Good to see you. It's been a minute. Uh, Seeing your lovely messages. Hey Wayne, were you on my Adobe stream this week? I think you were. Max, Tom, hello. So I presented for or with Adobe at South by Southwest. It was a pretty basic stream. Just focused on perspective and a few things here and there. So that was good. And we did actually a mix of analog and digital stuff, pen and paper, markers, but also using Adobe Fresco. So if you haven't tried it out, check it out. You can also use Procreate as well. I thought it was you, Wayne. So thanks for checking in on the stream. It was good to see some familiar faces, and well, not literally faces, but you know, names in the chat, if you will. But Wednesday's stream was huge. I think there were 260 people or so watching, and then Thursday there were another 200 almost watching. So it was good. Had a good time. Yeah, I'm hoping there's just some things happening in the background. I hope continue to keep rolling. So exciting things ahead. I had a lot of interest in the chat actually about classes, so I think that's a good prompt for me to really push on producing content, structured content to help everyone level up their skills. So you can look forward to that. Hey Applejacks, what's up? Welcome to our channel members and patrons. Thank you so much. I know I say it a lot, and I hope it doesn't get tired, but I do mean it. Latrice has been there a long time. He knows the love is real, so thank you very much. Simon, what's up? Hello. So it is Fan Friday, and on Fan Fridays, I like to kind of check in and share some of your work from the Discord. It was a little bit light this week, understandably, because I wasn't pushing as hard in the channel and on the stream. But with that, we'll switch over here. I kick things off with a few examples of my own, and these aren't all perfect or anything like that, but meant to communicate some technique, if you will, and approaches to doing shiny things. So we went over how I did that on pen and paper on, was it Monday, Tuesday? I don't remember. Yeah, I think I gained a few subscribers for sure. A few people signed up, Latrice says. But yeah, our theme is Chrome this week, so I'm happy to do whatever you want to do or see, but I'm going to put something Chrome on it. So anything I do today, I'm going to throw some Chrome on. All right, so we got a sketch here from Phil Van Veal. Maybe I'll take this one actually and chromify it a bit more. This would be a good one to do. So I'm going to copy this. Copy. Okay, we're copied. Let me just make sure I paste this in Procreate. Should I use Procreate today? Yeah, I think I'll use... Oh, man, I got the burps. I think I'll use Procreate today. So let me go ahead and paste this. I go between both apps. People ask me all the time, why do you use one or the other? I like to just be flexible for the most part, so that's why I do what I do. All right, so thanks for the submission, Phil. We also have Felix here with some Chrome samples as well. Thank you, Felix. I like this picture here, particularly because you have a combination, an interesting combination of the background with this object in the foreground, and you can see all the reflections. So a nice use of color play here on this sketch. Super cool technique, and definitely a creative way to do it. There's a couple of things I would tweak, but if Felix shows up, maybe I'll talk a little bit about that. Hello people threw in a random sketch here. Not Chrome, but maybe the person could be Chrome, or the flowers could be Chrome. And whoa, pen and ink drawing here. This is really cool. This is by Hello people as well. Yeah, I don't have patience for that, so thanks for throwing that in. All right, if you haven't yet, check out the Discord. We have the weekly sketch challenge channel, and then we also have a show your work channel. And since today is all about you all, I'll show some of the sketches you've been working on. I thought this was interesting. Max here had some sketches, kind of before and after, right, of practice. How it started versus how it's going in 3 months. So keep up the good work, keep working, keep sketching, keep pushing yourself, and things will get better. Side views are easy in shoes. Once you get a little bit more comfortable, try some perspective and see how that goes. Why is my thumbnail off? Why is my thumbnail off? Sorry about that. There we go. There I am. Hello, Megan. Do I work with other art materials, paint or clay? I have painted. I do paint. And I think we were talking a little bit. Latrice was asking maybe an abstract art week. So maybe we could do that next week. Abstract art as our theme, and maybe bring in some other materials. So I have pastels, I have paint. I don't do a lot of clay, but my kids like to play with clay. So maybe we could do that. Oh, nice. Working on your logo, Latrice. Very cool. Perspective class demo here by Kalemandar. Very cool. Those are always fun pages. We have sketchbook 28 here with a car. Cars are always fun, but I'm going to try and avoid doing cars. Someone said, do you just love sketching cars? And I was like, well, you know, everyone likes to see cars, so that's why I do cars. I think I did a car on the Adobe stream as well. So reminder, if you are interested, there is a link to the stuff I use on the stream. It's a great way to support if you're going to be getting materials as well. Those are Amazon affiliate links, I should say. So if you do choose to use Amazon, just use those links. Okay, we got NJ Design here. Very cool. Design. Car sketches. Everyone loves cars. And hello people with a painting as well. All right. So I'll just kick things off with a little bit of warm up before I jump into this sketch here. I forgot who it's by. My brain is mush, I swear. I'll probably be one of those people who forgets their kids' names all the time. Phil Van Viel. All right, so that was by Phil Van Viel, but let's start with a little bit of a warm-up page here using my 12.9-inch iPad Pro. I keep hoping Apple will release a new one, but I haven't had any such luck yet. Let's use the ballpoint pen today. Why not? It's part of my brush pack. Let's maybe pick a blue that's a bit more proximate. There we go. All right. So we'll start with some lines. If it's your first time, thank you. Welcome for tuning in. Yes. Forgot how to speak, or maybe it's just my beverage talking. All right, do some straight lines. Get the muscles going. I talked about stretching on the Adobe stream as well. Sometimes you can stretch your shoulder. Since I'm drawing with my shoulder, I try to stretch. How you hold your stylus can matter as well, or affect how you sketch and what you're able to see. Do some circles. You know the drill. You know the drill. But I do this to show you that even myself, someone who's been drawing for almost 20 years, I still do my warm-ups. All right. What tips do you have for a true beginner like yesterday? Hey, PI Forever, thanks for joining. I'll try and make sure I explain things, but definitely the warm-ups are one thing. Maybe I can kick things off by showing you just some basic tips for a beginner, for sure. I think the most important thing, or one of the most important things, I should say, one of the more important things, is to just relax, right? I know it can be stressful, and don't psych yourself out of drawing, okay? Just because you may follow some artist or person that looks like they make it effortless, and I'm not talking about myself, other people, because I follow people like this too. Just remember that for them, it takes time, it takes correction. Work smarter, not harder, right? If it looks wrong, it probably is, right? So it's gonna take consistent practice. My oldest son is learning to play the guitar, and I play a little bit of guitar and sing. That's the other thing I've been doing this week, is I've been making lots of music for the channel, so I'm hoping to debut an extra hour or so of music of my own creation. the YouTube stream, so that'll be fun. But he's learning to play guitar, and I told him, you know, pick one thing. We're gonna pick one chord this week. One chord. We're gonna learn how to play G, and so he's been strumming G chords all week, much to my not dismay, annoyance maybe. G, 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 G. So pick one thing and do it all the time. All right, so tips for a beginner, question from PI Forever. Here's an exercise you can do as a beginner. All right, I want you to try and just draw a cube. All right, I explained this on the Adobe stream, but drawing a cube means you can draw lots of things. So draw a cube. Maybe it means that you draw it in the same point of view over and over. Just start there, right? And keep doing it. So after you've maybe done this, you know, 500 times or something, depending on how many you do per page, you want to kind of mix it up. So try saying, oh, maybe I'm seeing less of one side and more of the other side. What does that look like? I'm drawing a box, right? So do this a couple times, maybe give yourself challenges. This is a messy box, so I might say, okay, next time I'm gonna try and do less double line, or just less doubles. I'm gonna try and do this with less doubles. So I may come in and go 1, 2, 3. Oops, see, I messed up already because I'm used to drawing my cubes a certain way. I think that counts as less doubles, but I gave myself a challenge and tried to stick to that. All right, so challenge yourself. So the first, let's draw cubes. This is for industrial design sketching specifically. 2, challenge yourself, or just challenges. Mix it up, change perspective. Change perspective and point of view. So it might be like that. It might be, oh, I'm going to sketch as if I'm looking under a cube. What would that look like? All right. It may seem boring, but really you're just training yourself to see things from different points of view. And I think that's important. Draw through is another tip. All right. So draw through. So just on this page, we have 4 tips, okay? Draw cubes, challenge yourself, change perspective and point of view, and draw through. The other thing you want to do is now start combining. So combine forms. All right, so I may start with, say, a cube like this, or a box, whatever. Struggling today. All right, start with a box. And then now I may say, oh, what if I add something to this box? Say a shape like this. And notice I'm drawing through, right? So I'm still drawing through. Not using any helps or tools. I think my streamline is set to 0 or maybe 2, if anything at all. But just push yourself. All right, some line weight. So combining forms is important because many times, just like I did on the Adobe stream yesterday, if I were sketching something like a camera, I'm dealing with multiple shapes or forms being combined with each other, okay? So it's a good way of practicing and building up to more complex things. And maybe here we can do some sort of another combination. I mean, this is all in the same direction, but we may want to mix things up eventually. My perspective's off on that one, I can tell. But start combining forms. You know, maybe in this direction we do another combination here. But this is just going to train you to try and, well, one, be consistent with your perspective. Two, you're going to have to work on your line quality, challenging yourself to not use too many lines. I haven't done these in a while, actually. Maybe I should do a series of them just to sharpen up a bit. All right. And then if you want, you can add some line weight to it. Maybe just on the outside here, just to clean things up. All right, so once you do these combinations, then you want to do, so I guess 5 would be combined forms, 6, and maybe there's some other examples down here that you want to do. 6 would be primitives and combinations. So taking like, okay, what does it look like when I have, or start with a cube, for example, draw an ellipse in that top face, draw an ellipse on the bottom. I'm used to just drawing the cylinder anyway. So let's say you have a cylinder. What would it look like if I now had a rectilinear shape intersecting? That is so off. Intersecting with this other cylinder at 90 degrees. There are ways to calculate all this stuff, but I want to show you just real quick. So what I like to do is just think about, okay, what's the cross section here? Okay, so I'm going to get a line like that. Okay, and that's it. If I had a cube intersecting. So start doing stuff like that, because eventually you're going to want to do, say, okay, what does a cylinder look like? If I take this cylinder and this ellipse and I need to wrap it on this surface, what does that look like? Okay, well, you end up with something a bit like this. So it's almost like taking that ellipse and just like pulling it over a curved surface. All right. So those are some basic things I would do if you're just starting out. It may seem complex, but when you figure out how shapes combine to form other, not shapes, but how objects combine to form more complex things, you're going to gain a superpower to be able to sketch a lot of different things. All right. So great question. Thanks a lot. Oh, the other thing you can practice as well, let's just fill up this page, is contour lines. I went over this yesterday as well on Adobe, but being able to sketch simple contour lines can help you just quickly show forms without having to worry about too much stuff. You know, maybe I have some weird bean-shaped product or something, right? Just a little contour line helps define the surface. Classic blood vessel form here, or blood cell form. Maybe a little shading. I go over a little bit of this technique in my pen and ink guide as well, if you want to check that out. It's SketchADay.com. And I am working on the digital guide. Here and there, I got a little distracted with making music, so I've been music production land. In fact, I've got a new piece of hardware coming today that I'm gonna play with a bit, so that's been pretty fun. But I would say work on these things. Try and understand what's happening, why it's happening. Start with the basics, and then kind of build from there. Build a solid foundation. All right. I guess my 7th tip or 8th tip would be draw after all this, or maybe do it at the same time, but draw from observation, because that's going to make you draw better from your imagination. All right, if I've never drawn like a piece of construction equipment or that kind of thing, I would need to study one first, and by study I mean practice drawing a real one, and then I can take the things I've seen in the real one and apply to the one I've imagined. Woo, tired. I guess I had a late night. Hopefully this didn't cut off. I'm hoping it didn't. Yeah, it did cut off. All right, so I'll clear this layer. Let's go ahead and paste. We should have the same thing there. No. Okay, maybe not. We'll go back to the Discord. I'll pick it up. We'll pick it up. Little copy there, or screenshot. And now I'm going to copy that. And we can paste here. All right, so really nice job on the motorcycle. I was just gonna say, if you want to make this a little bit shinier, one thing you can do is increase contrast in a few spots. So like here, for example, maybe bring the white right next to the black. And then actually what's gonna happen is you're gonna get intense white up. All right, so there it is without, and there it is with. Okay, so now it looks a little bit shinier. Can you guys see that? All right, so a little bit shinier. Now, if it's outdoors, you may end up with something more of a deep brown, or it might be green, right? If these are mountains or something. But even then, I like to still throw a little bit of black in there, right? But we're gonna pick up those colors. Like if you're next to some grass or something, you see a little bit of that in here. Nothing wrong with that. All right, but this is kind of functioning like a mirror, so you can kind of try and think. There's no like specific color for chrome besides, okay, what's in the environment and what's being reflected here. Maybe this is someone. I'll use my pencil actually for this. All right, because you might have a bit more artifacting as we reflect some other stuff in the environment. So don't be afraid to push the contrast, is the point of all this. All right, don't be afraid to push the contrast in your chrome. So now that looks a little bit more chrome. Of my video list, which one should I start with? Oh, that's a good question. What I would recommend is, if you go to my website, and I should have had them post this link on the stream yesterday, but if you go to this link here, I've put together kind of a list. There's some basic videos. They're not in sequential order or anything, but there's a list of videos. Well, there is a playlist called Basics, or Basic Sketching, and then there's on that videos page just general sketching. So that'll have like tips on your more basic stuff, if you will. So anyhow, my point with this is, I'm trying to remember who did it because I always keep forgetting. So let's check again. This was by Phil Van Veel. All right, so thank you, Phil, for your sketch. There's my little bit of feedback for you. You're working on this chrome stuff. All right, so now I'm going to turn to you all in the audience and see, what is it you want to see today? What have you been itching to discover or find out? Maybe it's a specific thing you've been sketching or having trouble with that you kind of want to see. All right, so little thing here, because these surfaces are facing different directions, notice how I've put this nice hard contrast against the white. Okay, assuming, maybe there's some grass or something, that's just gonna help it feel more, one, three-dimensional, but two, help it feel more like make it feel more like a three-dimensional thing. Sorry, I was just looking at the chat here. We have a question from The Bang. How do you shade glass just using only a black marker showing highlights and shadows on silicone or glass? It's a great question. I'll show you kind of what I like to do. So thanks again, Phil, for your submission. We'll jump over to a new document here. So is it a specific type of glass object? Do you want to see a cylinder? Do you want to see a cube? What is it you'd like to see? Hello, Vanch. Yeah, glass is really interesting. I have a few examples here. I'll switch to the overhead for now. So this is an award I won. It's actually cool because it's solid and you can kind of see what's happening a little bit. So it's a rectangular object, right? If I look at it, it's a little dusty. I need to clean it up, but you kind of get a weird mirroring thing happening here. And notice how it's happening like halfway through. So transparent but solid is going to be a little bit different because we're getting refraction happening plus reflections essentially off the inside, which is causing this optical situation, if you will, right? So it doesn't hurt to look at something, because when I look at this, I can go, oh, let's make some observations, besides the fact that my fingerprints are all over it now. In the corners, I'm getting some darkening, but also you can see the light, right? Look at this line here as it basically shoots all the way through. That's a reflection of this line back into that surface, but I'm missing the white from my screen underneath. Okay, so you got to think of it that way. Don't hesitate to pick up some reference if you need. Brian says, I've been working on abstract patterns and shapes. Any tips on abstract patterns? I don't do a lot of that. I know Latrice does. Latrice is in our chat. I would recommend Brian as well, and The Bang. If you join the Discord, there's an awesome community of people there, and oftentimes if I don't have the specific answer, someone else will. Like, there's people that are way more talented than I am in certain areas there as well, so something you can check out. All right, I'm gonna try and sketch some glass thing here. The request was just with a black marker. All right, so I'm gonna pretend this is on paper, but I'll use my marker brush. All right, and I'm gonna just draw through. So we have bottom plane there, and kind of got the lines like so. All right, so there was some darkening in the corners, so I might start darkening the corner, leaving the double line, right? So a little double line there. Maybe something like that. Maybe picking up some other artifacts. You can have another double line thing happening there. I'm not sure if the top here is totally accurate. I believe the top we're going to get more of, especially if this is shiny, we're going to get a reflection of what's above. So, you know, if above this glass scene we have something dark, maybe we'll get that in there. Right, so I could shade that in. You can kind of use your imagination, or again, if you want to reference something, you can use that as well. All right, so maybe something like that. And then remember, we had this little thing happening where we were seeing essentially the reflection of these faces back in the sides. All right, so I'm just going to sketch real light here. Some people like to geek out over this stuff and obsess with it, and then they'll call me out. Oh, that's not accurate. I'm like, okay. Just using my imagination, bro. Anyhow, good times. So, I'm being flippant, but, you know, if this is on a dark surface, you may get a dark spot in here. For example, it's one thing that might happen. You might get a dark spot in here. It's a little bit harder using, I would say, just black, but maybe something like that. And then the way to get subtle tones with just a black pen, right? You could use straight lines, or if you just want to go pure high contrast, you could do that as well. That's totally fine. But I always have helps with me in my studio. What I mean by that is, let's go ahead and make this a little darker here. Maybe some. I do have like, I have like a solid plastic rod that is transparent. I'll show you guys right there. So if I need to look at something and see, oh, what does it look like when there's something dark, right? Look at how the reflection comes in from the other side. Okay, and just kind of just do a quick study, take a look at it, and I'll use this as a reference as well for something more cylindrical. So yeah, I don't know about a black marker per se, but you might end up with something like that. Something cylindrical, however. It always helps to put a background on as well if you're trying to communicate that something is transparent. So if I had a background here, for example, I might show that background coming through on this side. I just have to make sure I match the color, but since we're using just black, man, my hand is shaky. Look at that. That's why I don't draw with my wrist usually, and I'll try and draw. Oops, forgot I was not on iPad view there. That's why I draw with my shoulder for one. No. Okay, so here's another thing I don't like about Procreate. Whenever, and I don't know if it's just my iPad, if it's iOS, if it's Procreate specifically, but sphere please from a coffee maker. A sphere from a coffee maker. What program do I recommend for designing shoes? People use Photoshop, they use Illustrator, they use Procreate. It just depends on what you're drawing, really. So back to Procreate. Procreate crashed because I dragged from the color to region. So now I've got to swipe up, cancel my Procreate, jump back, open it up, and I've lost all my undo capability. But now I can come back here. I learned this trick. Someone mentioned this on the stream, but if you drag and you notice that it's filling the whole region, you can swipe after holding, and it's going to adjust the threshold of the filled in area. So pretty cool, pretty handy. But yeah, maybe we have like 2 lines for a background, so we'd kind of see this. See this here. Maybe something like that. Coming in from the other side. So remember, if you don't believe me, here is a clear plastic thing. Look what happens. Whoa, looks like it's coming in from the other side, right? Check that out. If you have something straight, like the edge of my iPad, and this is slightly angled, you get that little boop, and everything's kind of flipped. All right, so we can kind of flip everything. You get to imagine what's in the environment, and that's how you draw this stuff. All right. Thank you. I'm glad you enjoy. Again, I'm just gonna throw something dark here on the top. The question was, if you're just tuning in, how do you draw transparent things? It's different. I'm taking some liberties here. It's a little different if the object is what's the word? It's a little bit different if the object is thin-walled as opposed to completely thick. So this plastic rod that I have is solid, but I also have, sorry, my sister just texted me, made me laugh. I have a friend helping me with my music, so they were hitting me up to see if I want to do a stream with them. I want to do a stream. Anyhow, so maybe something like that. It's a little bit easier if, I think if you have color. So the question was, what about a sphere? Okay, can I draw a circle today? Close enough. All right. If you want to draw a circle in Procreate, you can draw and hold, and then hit edit and go circle. Boom. There. I used the little cheat. That's one instance where I'll use it. So I would say use the let's just scale this down. Use the force, Luke. Use the force. Use the cylinder as a guide, because a cylinder is a bit more approximate, or it's a better approximation of the optics that you're gonna get in a sphere as opposed to a cone, or not a cone, a cuboid. So you could start there, right? So the request was, how can you shade glass with just using a black marker, showing highlights, shadow, silicone? Sphere is a bit trickier. Again, I have references for a reason. Here's another, I'll switch to my top camera. Here's a clear cube that I have. So if I need to look at it, everyone can go, oh, okay, that's, and you can kind of see that effect that I was talking about, where it looks like things are just being reflected. It's almost like there's a tiny cube inside of this cube, but we're getting reflections for sure on faces. So this color on this face to the right is my finger being reflected here on the bottom, but also from top reflected down into this side. So that's what you're seeing. You see that? So the back corner is being reflected in right there. Sorry, I know I have a sphere and I'm trying to find it. Ah, here it is. Here's my sphere. So I do have a sphere. Okay, and we can kind of just observe what happens. So if I move something behind the sphere. Okay, so notice here's the edge of the iPad. As I move the sphere up, you can see the edge of the iPad is upside down, but it's also being distorted. And that's what I mean, it's being distorted in both ways. If I move this pen here, we're getting that same thing happening, left to right, being flipped. Okay, all along the perimeter, we essentially have this light that's wrapped around. That's because the background's illuminated, but if it were dark, here's the, oh, it's actually the light above, my bad. So it's the light above that's distorted right there. So it's helpful to have things like this, right? Again, draw from observation so you can draw from imagination, all right? There's nothing wrong with using a little bit of reference to kind of help you, but if I were to describe what I just saw, it would be something like this. Let's use a new layer. All right, while I'm doing this, let's think of a sketch you'd like to see, or if you just want to keep it instructional. I guess this week's been pretty instructional overall, but what you're kind of getting is this kind of thing happening. So if my background's here, for example, I'm gonna get something like this happening as far as the opposite of that background. It's gonna come in from the other side and follow that distortion. Okay, so we're gonna get something like that happening. So having a background helps. If you don't have a background, let's say this is on a plane. Okay, this plane is also going to be distorted and reflected. And I guess if it's transparent, this would actually come in at the top. So if it's sitting on a surface, you're going to get something like this, where this is maybe the plane that it's resting on. Like so. And then since everything's flipped, maybe a light at the bottom, right? And then this could be dark if it's all, you know, in a dark environment or scene. It'd be something like that. Hopefully that makes sense. All right, in terms of actual execution, maybe something like this here. These are always fun to do though, and it's fun to think about, okay, what's actually happening, right? Things are kind of flipped in there. And I like to throw in little artifacts. Even just a little double line around the edge can kind of help communicate that it is a solid sphere, right? Now, if this weren't solid, like let's say it were just, I'll do my little Procreate thing here again. So let's say this were actually a double-walled, not double-walled, but just a thin-walled object. So just a thin-walled thing, and we have a background, and we're looking, oops, we're looking through it. You might end up with, let me think about this actually. I don't think we're gonna have the flip so much. You're gonna have some flip right in here. So I could throw the background in here. But I imagine what's gonna happen, okay, because the cross section here is elliptical, like this. I imagine what's gonna happen is we're gonna get the background kind of bulging ever so slightly, but not necessarily flipping. That's just what I'm picking up on with the optics that are present in spheres. So you can kind of think through these problems if you really, really want to, if this is your jam, if this is your thing. Now, would we have a shadow? We'd have light going through, but even if it's just a quick sketch, throwing a light shadow here isn't going to break the universe and everyone's understanding of what's happening. We may likely have some light happening as well. Right, as light passes through the sphere, you may get a light spot as it's refracted through. Okay. All right, so that's my quick demo on transparent, translucent things. Okay, what else would you like to see today? If you don't want to see anything else, I'm just gonna roll with it. Maybe do a Scribble game, Scribble challenge, something like that. So let me know. Thanks again to Patreon's channel members for tuning in. Thank you for your continued support. If you'd like to support what I do, check out patreon.com/SketchADay or just hit the join button on YouTube. Personally, it's a little easier for me to manage Patreon, but some people like having the option of YouTube as well. Thank you, Nestor. Too kind. Too kind. I'm going to wrap the stream in about 16 minutes, so I have time for like one sketch. So let me know what you'd like to see. Otherwise, I'll just do a Scribble challenge. All right. I'll give you a few minutes, or not a few minutes, a few seconds to start throwing down. But yeah, it's been a busy week. Life's been good. I'm grateful for all the opportunities, the shout outs, the high fives, the hellos, projects, all of that good stuff. 2020 was an incredible year for me in many ways. Very transformative personally, but also it was cool to kind of make a bet on myself and be able to survive. I won't say thrive, but definitely survive. So grateful for that. All right, I got nothing, so I'm just gonna go with a Scribble. Let's go with a Scribble exercise. So this is something I like to do. I'm just gonna do a couple of these and then, oops, I'm gonna do a couple of these. I feel like I always do the same Scribble though. You almost like need someone else to do it. That one's kind of cool. Hey Patrick, I'm glad you just got in. A sync. We got a request from Patrick for a sync. I was just gonna do a quick Scribble challenge since no one had responded. All right, I don't like that scribble. So you might be wondering, what's he doing scribbling on the screen? This is so weird. Patrick, do you mean like a kitchen sink? What kind of sink are you talking about? Bathroom vanity? Nestor, you're too kind. A PC mouse, for example. I could do that. Hey, Mecha Art, I know I owe you a Proto Man, so I haven't forgotten. But I think, I know I keep saying, oh yeah, Sci-Fi Sunday, and then Sunday rolls around and I'm like completely slammed and exhausted, but ooh, pardon me. I will try and be there this Sunday for that. So I think I'm just gonna do this scribble challenge. And let's see what we can come up with here. This almost looks like, it looks like an old witch or an old lady with like a cane. So if this were some sort of like hand here, and then this could be some just gnarly piece of wood. That's kind of what I'm seeing anyways. And maybe this is her hat. So the idea is you use kind of the lines that are there and then see what you can come up with. So maybe this is her high heel. Okay, that's a little weird. Let's see if I can do this the right way. So some sort of high heel there. And then so you guys see how this works? The scribble challenge is pretty fun. And let's see. How do I get this other leg in is the question. Maybe this is an arm coming forward or something. I'll do this on a new layer so I don't mess up entirely, but maybe this is another sleeve or something. Do something like that. And then could have the other leg here. Definitely not spending enough time with this, but it could be something like this, and then this could be part of clothing. Like I have a friend who does this, who's a comic book artist, and he's like super talented at it, but I do enjoy doing these. They're fun. Upgrade the springs on your ender. Did you get it to level? So see, now I gotta do like some sort of witchy face. I do I like using 3D printers as long as I don't have to maintain them too much. So that's why I like the one I have. That's the Monoprice voxel, and I got it super cheap as well. Super cheap. So yeah, just a little different activity here for you all. Try it yourself. We could do a scribble challenge for the week too. So maybe hit me up or post in the weekly sketch challenge channel what you'd like to see. And that might be a way for us to kind of figure out what should we do this week. Also, thanks to Jordan for the idea of doing the weekly sketch challenge. It was kind of his idea. He's gotten a little bit busy as of late, but just want to give him props and a shout out for starting that and getting everyone involved. It's been fun. Admittedly, I don't do as good a job of running it as he does, so pardon. There it goes again. It crashed again. It does this like weird crashy thing when you try to fill in certain spots. All right, so new layer, and now I'm gonna try and do a face. What's my favorite piece of art that I've made? That's a good question. I don't really have a favorite. I tend not to be too attached to my work, and that's not to say I don't take pride in my work, but I don't really like fixate on one thing or another. I can identify a few highlights, you know, things that I've done that I'm like, okay, this is pretty good. Maybe I'll share those sometime. But yeah, it's a fun exercise for real. All right, so now let's do some face here. Should she be wearing glasses? Or just squinty? If it's an older lady or person, I teach at this online school and we're trying to be more inclusive. Anyhow, I got some feedback that I should use less gendered language. So, trying to be better about things. All right, so maybe something like that. And then should we do curly here? Prue says near 800. Yeah, I got mine for 7 something. I still haven't even put mine together. I'm just gonna do these shapes for the hair and keep it kind of abstract. I haven't put my Prusa together yet, so there's that. So you're way ahead. I actually bought an Ender and then I returned it. Not because it's a bad printer. I just didn't want to deal with it at the time. This is a lot harder to do with pen, by the way. Digital, I can like do some trial and error stuff for sure. Make corrections, work on layers, but it is a fun activity. Trying to figure out how to terminate this part. Bring this in a little bit. Maybe something like that. Yeah. So you don't have to use all the lines necessarily, right? I can tweak, especially if this line's a little bit lighter. I can tweak that a little bit. Let's do one of these collar things here.
Yeah, bro.
Super fun though. Scribble challenge. You should try it sometime. Like, this arm makes no sense whatsoever, but I like the flow of the line, so I'm gonna try and stick to it. Meaning it makes no sense in a traditional, like, mechanical sense, but I'm just gonna roll with it. Don't crash on me, Procreate. I guess for purposes of movement, I could make this sleeve even bigger. Could make that sleeve bigger. That actually feels pretty good. And then I'll just erase this line I sketched in. Yeah, that feels better. Feels way better. So yeah, try it out sometime, the Scribble challenge. Just put a scribble on paper or ask someone to put a scribble on. Sometimes I'll ask my kids, like, hey, can you scribble something here? Then they do some weird line, and then I have to figure out, okay, what am I gonna do with this? It's pretty fun. Should they have a tooth sticking out? Little snaggle tooth. Bippity boppity boop. Yep, did it again. So there's another gripe I have about freaking Procreate. And I don't know if it's just me or like is this just a me and my version of the app thing, but I've been dealing with this for years. I guess I could have mentioned it to the devs there, but whenever I catch it, it's like too late. It's not like you can record it happening. It just happens. You know? Gerbity Genie Jerp. A Titan from Huntic. Huntic? I don't think I've heard of that. What's my favorite genre of music right now? I've been trying to work on producing some lo-fi beats. Huntic. Titan. Let's see. Oh, that's interesting. That is a different style. At first I thought you meant Attack on Titan, but this is something totally different. Totally different. Anyhow, we could keep going on here, but we'll wrap it up in a little bit. So what do y'all think? Scribble challenge or abstract art? What should we do next week? I'm curious. Or what would you like to try? A lot of stuff we can do, so if you don't make a choice now, maybe hit us up on the Discord. That's sketchaday.com/Discord. For information there. All right, gotta remember how hat wrinkles look. Maybe something like this. We'll do this on a new layer. Either way, super fun. Doing a little scribble challenge today. I don't think I've done, at least digitally, any of these live, so I certainly haven't done anything with a witchy vibe live here on the stream, so trying to decide, do I put a shadow on? Do I not? Erase this little doodad. All right, so if I group these these three layers together, should be able to turn it off. All right, so that's what we started with, how it started, how it's going. All right, so how it started. So I saw that when I saw this, I saw the hat and I saw a leg, and I thought maybe we could do an arm, and like, you know, if I wanted to be more anatomically accurate with the arm, I probably could have taken like here. Oops. Probably could have taken this line and done the arm or something. You know, but I didn't think that was as fun, so we went with the weird arm gesture here. I'm doing well, Vasisht. How are you doing? Just trying not to offend people. I kid. I kid. All right, so maybe something like that. Okay, it's been fun hanging out with everyone. Thank you so much. Let's do a quick recap of what we looked at today. So took a look at Phil Van Veel's work. So thank you for submitting. Went over a few technique things here. So the theme this week was Chrome. Thanks again for submitting your work. There it is without the adjustments, and there it is with. So if you just push your contrast a little bit more, I think you'll be there, right? Think about the environment, what you're reflecting in. Pull those colors in, and you can see the difference there. As far as technique, gave some tips on where to start if you're a beginner, at least with product design sketching. So draw cubes, focus on proportion, challenge yourself to be a little bit cleaner, change your perspective, point of view, and draw through, as well as combining forms, draw primitives and combine them, use contours, and draw from observation and imagination. We also went over some stuff on reflections, played around with some real props to observe what happens as things move. Okay, it's a way to figure things out. Use reference when it helps. I wouldn't use it as a crutch, but use it when it helps. And then we did a quick Scribble challenge. So once again, how it started and how it's going. So being able to just see patterns and see if you can come up with something from that pattern. Super fun activity and way to, just kind of be creative while you're drawing. So hopefully you had fun. I certainly did. I'll be back hopefully tomorrow, but definitely Sunday. I promise you, I'll be back Sunday. Sci-Fi Sunday. We're going to make it happen. We'll be here. We'll be doing our thing. I do have to give a workshop tomorrow, so that's why I'm like, it's probably a little bit iffy. I'm giving a 3-hour drawing workshop to some university students at Drexel University in Philadelphia. So if you happen to be watching and you're going to be there, cool, thanks. It was fun. All right. Thanks again to the channel members, patrons, and for our regular viewers. Much love and appreciation. Thanks for showing up. If you'd like to support, hit up patreon.com/SketchADay or just smash that join button. And I appreciate the support and the love. Shout out to Latrice, Applejacks, Wayne, Mecha Art, Svetlana, and let's see who else is watching. If I forgot anyone else, that's a Patreon or channel member. My apologies, but much love to you. Remember, if you're trying to learn how to do this and do it better, just take some time to take a concept and explain it to someone. It's going to help you integrate that knowledge. Remember, passion is the process. All right, love what you do what you love, and the rest kind of falls into place. And with that, I'll see you guys later right here on SketchADay. Peace out.